I don't like Omega's new Aquaterra. I think it's kind of ugly, and today we're going to talk all about it. Today's episode is sponsored by our friends over at Incogni. More on them later. And today's episode is simple. Omega recently released a new Aquaterra that I just don't find particularly pretty, and that's not a problem. I don't think that's a big deal. Many of you may find it pretty. It's just a subjective kind of, gut feeling about color and design. I don't like it, but I'm going to make this episode positive. It's not going to be about, beating down this watch. It's going to be about other times in the very recent past, in fact, in their current catalog, that Omega has taken a shot with color and just hit it out of the park. So today we're talking about one absolutely brilliant, very capable dive watch, another Speedmaster, and finally a simple Seamaster. Today I'm wearing not mine, it's in the shop, the Theo Harris Watch Shop, a JLC Reverso in pink gold. More on this later. And let's start off with this Ultra Deep, the Mac Daddy, the biggest, best dive watch basically on the market, I think, given the price. Not only is this a highly capable dive watch, but strictly about design. Look at the dial. Not only is it patterned and interesting and beautiful, it's brilliant. That is a laser representation of the Mariana Trench, which was mapped by the 5 Deeps team using sonar pointing. Unbelievable. Omega has done this sort of laser etching, this highly detailed, intricate, but beautiful etching in the past. They've done it on Speedmasters, actually, in their moon phases. Omega makes some of the most beautiful moon phases because they're really allowing nature to be their design guide and laser technology to be the artist itself, right? Bringing it to life. So these etchings are perfect. And because it's the earth, because it's natural, they are not completely consistent or geometric, right? It's not cartoonish. It's just real and beautiful, and to appreciate it, it does take a second of looking, right? I'm sure that there are many people that if they were to see this watch, they would just think it was, a pattern or a textured dial. But taking it the step further, it's unbelievable. I mean, when you compare this watch to Rolex's James Cameron, which is a beautiful watch, this takes it to a new level. To kind of make a James Cameron competitor, that is not easy. James Cameron is one of the coolest, dive watches in modern history, and yet Omega succeeded because they diverged. They took a different, really intellectual approach that Rolex didn't, right? Rolex took a simpler approach. Beautiful, but simpler. Omega killed it with this particular watch. Speaking of Omega Speedmasters, this is the second watch, the Omega Speedmaster Blue Side of the Moon. Now, this is a big watch, I believe at 44.5 millimeters, but that is perfect for many people's wrists. The case is in blue ceramic, which I absolutely adore, and the dial is in aventurine, and you have the laser engraved moon phase. You also have date, obviously, and chronograph. You have so much complication here, but this watch is just beautiful. It is maybe overcomplicated, maybe needlessly complicated, sure, and it couldn't be done any smaller, really, because there's so much going on, including the aventurine dial in the background, right? This really complicated canvas, and yet I think that they just knocked it out of the park with the color combination. I think it's legible, even given how complicated it is, and I just think it's perfect. I think the colors on that Deep Sea and this Omega Speedmaster are just more attractive, more maybe natural, more beautiful than what I'm seeing on the newest Aquaterra. Before we continue, a quick word from our sponsor of today's video at Incogni. Most people, myself included until recently, really have no idea how vulnerable their information is online. Data is exposed absolutely everywhere. In fact, the number of data breaches worldwide rises every single year. According to the annual data breach report, which was done by the Identity Theft Resource Center, it says that it went up by 211% from 2023 to 2024, due mainly to just 5 mega breaches. These are such large-scale breaches. That means that you and your loved ones are constantly at increasing risk of being caught up in a data breach, and your personal information remains at this moment exposed online. So what does Incogni do for you? How does it solve this problem? Well, Incogni is on the offense. They, on your behalf, go out and remove your information from all of these different vulnerable places, from online directories, people search sites, and even commercial databases, because companies are constantly collecting and even selling your data without your consent. And you can also use the Incogni custom removal feature to take down almost everything that is exposed about you online. So I think that we can all agree that that is absolutely unacceptable, but because of Incogni, it's all solvable, and they will in fact do it for you fairly simply. All you need to do is make an account at Incogni, give them authorization, and that's it. They go on and remove it for you. And if you go to incogni.com/Theo and Harris, you get 60%, that is 60%, that's ridiculous, off of your annual plan. So go to incogni.com/Theo and Harris and get 60% off your annual plan and start your journey to digital safety today. For the last piece here, we're gonna dumb it all the way back down. We're gonna go bare bones, Omega Seamaster Diver 300, $6,200, one of their entry-level models, and yet this version is just absolutely beautiful. Similar to the Rolex James Cameron, you don't have any of that, laser etching, you don't have that, topography, you just have a vignette, but I think it's beautiful. I think it's immersive. I think it's balanced. I don't think it's a literal grab from Rolex. I think it's done differently enough that it's beautiful. You have the wave pattern on the dial, which is just classic Omega. You have large hour markers with the matching blue lume that I think is brilliant. If this was done in white or in cream, I wouldn't have liked it as much. And, the Seamaster is a watch that has always been great, but never perfect. It's always kind of been in the shadow of the Rolex Submariner. And yet I think that a watch like this, because it takes such a left turn, it's so, divergent from that kind of bare bones, dive watch. It's more creative. I think like at $6,200, it's actually a better buy. It's a cooler buy in many ways than the Submariner. And I think that unlike the Submariner, the Omega Seamaster still kind of is a tool watch, whereas that Submariner, and it's a great watch, has really become more of a jewelry piece, has become more of a watch that people wear with, going out to dinner and kind of being fancier, and it's your promotion watch. A dive watch is supposed to be your vacation watch. It's supposed to be the watch that you wear to play around with your kids and go on a boat and get fish scales on and everything. And I think that this watch is actually far closer to that, origin, right? That baseline of like, why do dive watches exist? So anyway, I think that those three Omegas are better. They took a shot with color, they took a shot with detail, and they just did it better than Omega's newest Aquaterra. That is just my opinion. If you disagree, please comment down below. And before we leave, let's talk about the antithesis of those watches. This is a JLC Reverso in pink gold, 18 karat, with a beautiful black dial and these gorgeous markers, these indices, matching Dauphine hands. This is a wild watch. The condition is amazing. It is manually wound. This is one of the many special vintage, very often precious watches that are available in the Theo and Harris watch shop right now. Go explore our watch shop. It's a family business, as you all know. I started this business 10 years ago, and we're still shipping watches all over the world. In fact, my mom does the packaging, which many of you know. And anyway, if you're not in the market for a watch, head on over anyway, just for fun and explore and learn about vintage watches. And of course, as always, take a look at our strap selection, go buy one, and enjoy. That's it. Thank you all. Have a beautiful day.